In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
What is up, everyone? How's it going? Welcome and thank you for tuning in. God Twiggy, is that what the... No, God Twiggy, welcome back. Whoa! Nailed it, totally caught it, didn't drop it. Welcome back, thank you for tuning in, and... All-Oni, I think is how that's pronounced. Welcome, thank you for tuning in, thanks for the new follow. I was about to just make myself a rum and coke. Very simple, easy drink to make. Probably needs more ice, actually. Perfection. You told me how it was pronounced last time. It's Kylan, right? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat. How's it going? Thank you for tuning in on YouTube, I should say, specifically. Man, I've been having a pretty interesting day responding to stuff from what I thought was gonna be a really innocuous TikTok. When I responded, I was like, oh, this dude pulled some frozen vodka out of his fridge. And by the way, the guy who posted the original video, fully in on the joke. He knows what's happening. The caption to his video is parent, it's like, it says something like, parent of 2 teenagers, I wonder what happened, LOL. Like, he knows what happened. Cubics, welcome back. How's it going? But it's funny because, like, there are so many kids responding to my video now who are like, snitch! And it's like, dude, like, your parents know what's happening. This isn't a secret. I knew about this before I was a parent. Because my parents knew about it before they were parents. Like, everyone has either done this or heard of someone who's done this. I made a video telling you, well, I mean, like, as far as responsibility goes, you shouldn't do that, but, like, how easy it is to get caught. So just don't. Don't sneak sips of liquor, don't replace liquor with anything else, and don't store your liquor in a freezer. You're not fooling anybody. Chilling and playing Pokemon. Ooh, which Pokemon? Oh, I forgot that I meant to change my shirt. Oh well. Have some potential bar back gigs coming up. Sweet. What style bar? Craft? Volume Club, Vegas, which is its own whole thing, Sword and Shield. Oh, dope. I think that's... No. I have Sword and Shield, but the last Pokemon game that I really took seriously was Let's Go Eevee, and I captured or registered in my Pokédex every single Pokemon in that game except for like one, which is like on a technicality. It's like a limited release, some weird, like you have to go to a Nintendo event to get it. I even got the one that you're supposed to get through Pokemon Go. I have that one in there. There we go. I did play Sword and Shield, but I didn't play it for... No, I guess I did play it for a decent amount of time, because that was like right in the middle of quarantine for me. So like when I wasn't recording TikToks, I was playing Sword and Shield while my pregnant girlfriend would just like watch in horror. But yeah, I mean, like, I got to the end of the game, but there was so much more to do that I was like, screw it. I'm not going to try and, like, catch one of everything. I'm not going to try and evolve all of my everything all of the time. I also couldn't really fully come to grips with, like, how experience share worked in Sword and Shield. So I think the last time I played was getting into the... I'm gonna call it the Dojo Island, but I know that's not right. But like the first DLC that they had for it, I played that. Isn't there a new Pokemon game out? There's not like a new generation, but there's a new Pokemon game. One is a sports bar. The other is a catering bar. Well, if it's any consolation, the catering bar is probably gonna be pretty easy. Most catering, like bartending, not bar backing, most catering bartending is pretty simple. If you're dealing with cocktails, you're almost always making different kinds of highballs, like vodka, soda, gin, and tonic, rum, and coke. But yeah, it depends. Isle of Armor is the one I haven't played, I don't think. I have it, I just never played it, because I got the Season Pass DLC, whatever thingamabob. Hey, just chill, bro. Welcome. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate it. How's it going? I want to do that because I threw this like. There she goes. Now you all know how my whole setup is held together with rubber bands and bread ties. And if you think I'm joking, this. Somehow, show it against my pale skin. This is a bread tie that I'm using to hold my microphone aloft. There we go. Take that, Hollywood. I hope you guys aren't getting a whole lot of static on the mic. That would be really frustrating. Okay, here we go. I think we've done it. I think we fixed it. Oh, and let me get my flare bottle. I forget about how fragile like my whole setup is. Bueller, welcome back. How's it going? I almost didn't live stream from the bar again, and then I remembered, I think I didn't do any bar streams this past week. I think I either skipped my streams or I streamed gaming instead. Which we almost did today because John Luke is upstairs playing Valheim. And the newest, I don't want to call it a DLC, the newest like big patch for Valheim came out this past week. Was it this past? Yeah, it was this past week. On Tuesday, I think. Which is why we skipped the Tuesday bar stream. And so I was going to play that with him, because I haven't really gotten a chance to play the new content with people yet. But then I was like, you know what, I should do a bar stream. It's like my thing, and also it's harder for me to like get into conversations and chat with people while I'm like playing games. If I can get a solid position at the sports bar, it would be great because this is one of the largest bars in my city. Sick, dude. Marcus, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. How's it going? Can I do it with two hands if I want? Oh. Kind of. That doesn't really count because I took my hands apart and then just nested them together back there. I'm alive. Well, hey, you know, that ain't bad, I guess. I've been watching a lot of, like, Blue Jay Walker. Hobo who gives bad advice on TikTok. Hobo, he's using the term hobo, like, very loosely. Why does it... I'm not sure if I understand the comment, Marcus. Why does it call on the... Why? I'm sure you wrote it right, and my brain is just short-circuiting. Why does it call on here rocks? Oh, why is it called on the rocks? Because way back, this is apocryphal knowledge, so it may not be historically accurate, but way back, ice was incredibly rare and it was hard to keep. So at bars, what they would do instead is they would keep cold rocks and they would add those to your drink. Also, rocks wouldn't water your drink down, which is why whiskey rocks and whiskey stones are a thing. But you can't really shake cocktails with rocks. I guess you could mechanically, like it's possible. But yeah, and then eventually they were like, hey, ice is way better at this. So they just started using ice, but they kept calling it rocks. This same term, that term comes from the same era where ball comes from. There was a time when they wouldn't refer to glasses as glasses, they would refer to these as balls, which is how you have the high ball glass and the low ball glass. Or high ball, low ball. Calling it a high ball glass is like calling it a high glass glass. That's just my 2 cents. It may not be historically accurate, that's just my take on it. I just remembered I need to tell the world that I'm live! Everyone who follows me on other social media platforms but doesn't follow me here. Hold that thought. I need to grab my microphone. You know what I've just thought about that's like food for thought? There are a lot of Americans now like adopting a transatlantic accent, which is a made-up accent that it's not local to anywhere. It's a fully fabricated accent. No one naturally speaks this way. Americans, I feel like, are picking this up for fun in like social media posting and stuff like that. I've seen it all across TikTok. What you don't see is you don't really see anyone from the UK adopting a transatlantic accent. Unless you do, and I just don't know who these people are. Have you played... Oh, Metroidvania. Nope. I've actually never really gotten into any of the Metroid games. This is gonna be embarrassing. Bear with me. If you're seeing this, you might already follow me. I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm live over on the purple app. The link to that is going to be on my profile. I'm also live on the red app. Is that a thing? I don't know. That might be confusing. I'm live in a lot of different places. You can find all those on my profile. And if you're seeing this video, that means that I'm still live because I'm just going to take this down when I'm done with the live stream. So in the meantime, I hope to see you guys in chat. Be quiet. No tears, only dreams now. Yes, all of the filters so that nobody knows how ugly I am. Post. Cool. Alright, hopefully I don't break anything today, that'd be great. Have you considered becoming a sommelier? I've thought about it briefly. There are many reasons I never really walked down that path. I was very close to certifying for my levels 1 and 2. By the way, in the Court of Sommeliers, there are only 4 levels. There's, what do they call the first one? I think intro, and then there's like sommelier proper, which is technically their level 2. But if you pass level 1, you're not supposed to call yourself a sommelier. Then they have advanced, which is your level 3, and then they have your master sommelier, which is level 4. And it gets like not even incrementally, it gets exponentially harder from level to level. I was given the opportunity to test up for my level 1 for free. And sorry, no, that's not 100% true. I was given the chance to take the test and be reimbursed for it if I passed, which I would have because the level 1 test is not that hard. But what the Court of Sommeliers does is that if you pass your level 1 certification, you have 1 year to take and pass your level 2 certification, or you have to retake your level 1 certification. And each one of these things is like hundreds of dollars. I think my level 1 certification would have been $300 out of my pocket before I got reimbursed. And it's like not even like the stuff that they cover in level 1, in the level 1 course test is like, what's an old world wine? What's a new world wine? Like, name 3 red grapes. Like or like naming like the principal grapes from, or what are they called? Not canonical, not principal. Not flagship. There's a specific wine word for this, but like the main grapes that come out of certain regions. So like they might ask like, hey, what are the main grapes that come out of Alsace or Alsace or however you pronounce it? And the answer to that would be like Pinot Gris, Pinot Blanc, Riesling, and I believe Gewürztraminer, and I think that's it actually. I think it's just those. Baby Sauvignon Blanc. But they ask you questions like that. And there's no blind tasting, there's no like in-person verbal questioning or anything like that. It's not until you test up for your level 2 that it gets hardcore and like you have to have tasting notes and like blind tasting and crazy stuff like that. Another reason I didn't, that's a cash grab, 100%, it's a cash grab. The other reason I didn't pursue sommelier certification is because the Court of Master Sommeliers has been like embroiled in just like just bullshit up to their nipples for like a decade or over a decade, because like they're just like rampant cheating and like nepotism and stuff throughout the entire court. Like people testing up for their master and like getting approved as master sommeliers, like because they're like paying under the table, and like favoritism, nepotism, 2 words for the same thing. So like friends giving their friends like higher levels. So many things have gone wrong in the Court of Master Sommeliers. There's another certification that you can get, but is less identifiable. In the industry, it's sort of analogous to the Court of Sommelier, but outside of the industry, if you're talking to somebody about this, they would expect you to be a sommelier. They would have no idea what this other certification is. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. It's not the comms, because comms is Court of Master Sommelier. It'll come back to me, hopefully, maybe. If it doesn't, that's alright. It's not important. I didn't get that certification either. I've also not gotten a certification as a Cicerone, because all of those things feel like a waste of time. I have a bachelor's degree in film studies, so I'll be the first one to tell you a piece of paper does not tell you how much you know about any given topic. It also doesn't make you more employable. What was your interest before bartending? Film, actually. I mentioned that briefly, but I went to university and graduated with a bachelor's degree in film studies. I graduated with honors and all that nonsense. But I didn't exactly use that degree. I'm sort of using it now because, like, we'll look around really quick. Oh, come on. Alright, then we'll do this pivot. Yeah, if you look around, there's, like, cameras with like studio lenses, and then there's like the encoder and the chat up there. I don't know if I can safely point this down, but we'll try. This is where the real magic happens. This under here is an entire switchboard with controls for different cameras. So right now it's on camera 4, which is this guy here. If I switch it to camera 3, there we are, and this is me holding camera 4. And then a monitor so that I can see what all the cameras see all the time. And then there's an Elgato Stream Deck down there as well. But yeah, I use my degree to basically improve the production quality of my live streams here on Twitch, and specifically figuring out how to live stream this, because bartending doesn't easily lend itself to like your typical live stream setup, which would be like webcam, like 5 feet from your face, maybe. No, not even, like 2 to 3 feet from your face. And then like you have the bordered thing in the corner, and then the rest of it is like the game. Bartending doesn't really lend itself to that. I haven't used a switchboard in years. That's fair. I have 2, technically. Unless you count the stream. I have 2 stream decks, and I don't want this to feel like a weird flex. I have a lot of equipment, but the reason that I've accumulated all of this is because I'm using the stuff that I learned in order to get my degree to improve the production quality here, which is why one of the main comments that I get when I do my Twitch live streams, or even when we do the YouTube videos, is like, man, this guy feels like he's putting on a whole, like, Food Network or like Binging with Babish level production quality show, with not a whole lot of funding. But it did take me 7 years to get it to look like this. So hopefully 7 years from now it looks even better. Favorite movie and or TV show. My favorite movie is Tarzan, the original animated movie from Disney. And then my favorite TV show is... I don't know if I have one. I don't really get back into watching TV shows very often. Solo... I hope you know that spells Solo's Wager. But that's probably supposed to be Solo Swagger, I think, probably. Welcome, thank you for tuning in, showing up in chat, I appreciate it. Hey, mate. Welcome. Oh, I was on a news show in high school as a producer, so I did a lot with the switchboards. Cool. Ironically, or appropriately, I guess, I was one of the main, techies for our theater department when I was in high school. Since about my second year, I think. I spent, my last 3 years in high school, I spent, sort of, advising and building things for the tech theater department and, learning about their lighting boards and stuff like that. But that had very little to do with, what I took into film school, other than, I enjoy doing things with my hands. My favorite show is Avatar: The Last Airbender, 100%. Great show! I just, my mind is hey, if I had to rewatch another show right now, what would it be? And I'm not typically one to rewatch anything on TV. My favorite show's One Piece. I'm kidding. I would never rewatch One Piece. I would die first, because I wouldn't have the time. I am fully caught up, though, I think. No, there's an episode that came out today or yesterday that I haven't seen. Because my Crunchyroll keeps doing this really annoying thing where it'll finish the most recent episode, and then it'll play the, I want to call it an OVA, but I know that's not right. It'll play a filler episode, which is the Legacy of Sabo or the Legacy of Ace or something. It'll start playing that, and if I don't stop it before it begins playing that episode, it won't automatically go back to the newest episode in the Wano arc, which is a pain in the ass because then I need to scroll through 300 episodes of Wano arc nonsense to find the most recent episode. Have you been to Europe? From Marcus. Yeah, I have, actually. I was born in the UK. But I have gone to other places in Europe. My dad was from Belgium, so he spent a decent amount of time in Belgium as well. Belgium and France. And we were in Italy for... we've been through Italy, basically, because I traveled with my parents through there for like a week when I was too young to remember anyway. But yes, I've been to Europe. But the last time I was in Europe was 26 years ago, I think. I have yet to watch past episode 5 of One Piece. I swear to God, if One Piece ends with the One Piece being the friends we made along the way. The One Piece is actually the Nakama you made along the way. Is One Piece your favorite anime? No, not even by like any kind of stretch of the imagination. I think my favorite anime right now is probably that time I was reincarnated as a slime. I think it's really progressive. And it does all of the things that you want an isekai anime to do very well. Even if you're the kind of person who really enjoys like fan service and you're too lazy to find doujin or whatever, then there's some of that in Slime. But it's definitely not a focus. They just have like every season they'll do like 2 filler episodes or 2 OVAs where it's like, this is the beach episode, and like most animes do that now. But what I like is that there's a lot of world building. The protagonist, even though he identifies as he, him, is technically like a gender. He doesn't have parts. So there's a lot less of like the sexual tension, and it's more of just like this joke in the show, which I like. It doesn't distract from anything. It doesn't feel like they're needlessly building up romance in the show, which happens a lot in anime as well. And the way that they go about the world building feels interesting without feeling forced. My next favorite one, as far as world building goes, would probably be not Shield Hero. I want to say So I'm a Spider, So What, but my issue with that is that there's like a time skip or something, or there's like a parallel storyline that they don't do a good job of articulating. So it's very easy, especially like in the last 3 or 4 episodes, to like just completely forget, like, wait, hold on a second. So who is this guy again? And like, but if he's this person, then why is this person? And you just get lost. And it's not a cliffhanger, it just ends with confusion for me. It just happens to be the most similar to Slime. I like Overlord. Log Horizon I think is really good. Outbreak Company is good. These are all isekai anime. Sorry. I mean, that's most of what I watch. Because I'm also into like D&D, fantasy RPGs and stuff like that, and MMOs. So, I don't know, the idea of like an otherworldly anime where the protagonist comes from my setting is really cathartic for me. It's a very interesting viewpoint, and I like applying my game knowledge to the shows too. So like when I see certain things, I'm like, oh, like that's very similar to the stat block for like a goblin rogue in D&D 5th edition. Or like, oh, that's the same as this spell that you have. That looks like the enlarge reduce spell, and like some of the buffs and debuffs look the same too. Have you seen SAO? I have seen, yeah. Sword Art Online. I believe I've seen everything there is to see of it, aside from maybe one movie. I don't think I've seen something Protocol. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, I've seen all of Alicization. Gun Gale Online. I've seen the Gun Gale Online alternative, and then seasons 1 and 2, which I guess are technically one season really. My with SAO is that it falls almost the protagonist gets, the villains become needlessly and without explanation more powerful And so the protagonist has to also do that. And so the way that they go about doing this is that they're just like, oh man, we made the protagonist really, really overpowered. Okay, what do we do? Well, we'll just make an overpowered villain. And then they're like, well, why, though, is he so powerful? And the answer is just like, he's evil. And they're like, well, cool, we got it. But like, why does that make him powerful? And it's like, the more evil he is, the more powerful he is. And then they're like, cool, great. So then what is Kirito gonna do to overpower this guy? And in the boardroom, I guess, one of the guys was just like, listen. So, one guy is powerful because he's evil, so Kirito is powerful because he's good. Which, by the way, is already kind of a stretch. Just saying. And then, so they have these that who are like, for no reason at all, no practical reason, are more powerful now. I will say in Alicization, they do a good job of like explaining how Kirito becomes incrementally more powerful, but then in the final fight, it literally just boils down to like, oh, he's about to kill the bad guy, and then the bad guy's just like, but now I'm twice as evil, so twice as powerful for no reason. That's it. And then Kirito's just like, well, now I'm twice as good as I was before. It's stupid. It's just so trite. The animation's great, but the writing is severely even the worlds that they build are interesting, but the writing is just so boring. After the first season, Gun Gale Online is interesting, Gun Gale Alternative is interesting too, but like they've fallen on their habits now. Rebel, what is up? Welcome back. Hi, if there was one drink that you would never have to make again, what would it be? So there's different ways to answer this question. I feel like I would probably just say like the Long Island iced tea. In all instances, on the one hand, I would like to not make it because there's like at least seven ingredients in it every time that you make it. So it is a little bit time consuming. Not really, because you can kind of just dump it all in a glass. The other reason I would like to not make more Long Island or Long Island style drinks is because while they taste okay, you can get something that tastes okay without ordering something that will like cause you to flip your car. I don't think it's responsible to like craft drinks and design drinks that are like that intense. So I would just like to not serve drinks like that ever. But I mean, hey, if guests come in, if you're paying for it, I'll make whatever you ask. Someone on TikTok made a really good point once that he then buried himself with contradictions. But the point was a really good point. He said, we serve guests, not drinks, which is very true. He then went on to describe, I think, about 3 situations in which he did actually serve drinks and not guests. So I think the profoundness of what he said was lost on him, but it stuck with me. I think it's a very good takeaway. So yeah, if you're willing to pay for it, I'll make anything that I think is like safe and reasonable. Meaning like if you come into the bar and you're like, I want a flaming shot of 151, I'd be like, go home now while you still can. Or let me get my manager really quick so he can kick you out. Kirito just has hacks. Yeah, that's another thing they don't really describe well. It's like a Dragon Ball Z style trope, right? Where the characters just like, they're like, oh, we need to be more powerful. And then the writers are just like, here you go. And the characters are like, okay, I guess I'll do some push-ups and like cry about it. And now I'm 3 times as powerful as I was before. Or the stupidest thing in Dragon Ball Super, where like they take this really profound idea that like in order to evolve into a Super Saiyan, you have to like process this really intense emotional trauma, and then they completely boil it down, and then they're just like, no, you just have to focus on a spot in your back for some reason. Sorry, gotta go, but I was happy to have a conversation. Solo Swagger, or Solo's Wager. You know, I don't think you told me how you would like for it to be pronounced, but thank you for tuning in and sticking around. I do appreciate it. Ellie, how have you been? I haven't been able to catch any of your streams recently, unfortunately. But I am watching your stuff on Instagram. Is that bottle specifically for learning Flare? Yep. It's supposed to be shatterproof. It will break glass if I, like, slam it into the glass or if it goes rolling down the bar. So I still need to be, like, a little bit careful. I can't just go, like, ah, and, like, forget what I'm doing or forget that I'm throwing a bottle. This was actually a gift from my girlfriend. And since I've got this, I've actually done less Flare with my regular bottles because I get to work out all of my ADD fixation with this thing. So by the time it actually comes around to making drinks, I don't feel like I need to be like, whoa, woo, woo, throwing things around. It's good. I did a 24-hour stream Friday to Saturday and slept for 14 hours after. God, I don't think I could do a 24-hour stream. I definitely could not do it from the bar. The only way that I think I could pull off a 24-hour stream would be if I had, like, other friends to tag in and, like, stream to my Twitch for me. It would be fun to do something where, like, if I decided I was going to do a 24-hour stream, telling people, like, hey, the bar will be streaming for 24 hours, and I will be here for most of that time, but Jean-Luc is also going to come behind the bar so that, like, I can eat and sleep, and, like, Hannah might come behind the bar and cover for a little bit. 24 hours of just Flare. My arms would fall off. And I'd probably break everything back here. Dragon Ball would be 10 times better if Gohan were the main character, and him and Vegeta were the main duo. So, ironically enough, Kylan, I don't know if you know this already, but Gohan was supposed to be the main character in Dragon Ball Z. It was meant to be one of the main differences between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. That's why Gohan defeats Raditz in the first season. Technically Goku defeats Raditz, but it's why Piccolo and Goku both die, I believe. That's why Goku dies in the first season, and Piccolo is left to train Gohan. And they're meant to cultivate this idea that Gohan has, like, a latent, untapped potential that's way higher than all of the other characters. But what ended up happening is during, I think, the Vegeta saga, they realized that Goku was a much more popular character with the fan base. So they just decided, screw it, we're going to run with this guy instead. And that was to do with a lot of things, not least of which because they had adult fans of people who had grown up watching Dragon Ball, the original series, were watching Dragon Ball Z, so they wanted Goku to continue to be the main character. But I agree with you, Gohan would have been a much more compelling main character, the writing would have been a lot more interesting. They're recently going back into that, not recently, like a few months ago, they dived back into that in the manga for Dragon Ball Super, like talking about what his limitless potential actually means, and like how likely is it that he can go back to that and like be stronger than Goku and Vegeta and everybody. Vegeta also has a new form in the manga too. I think it's good to make a solid plan and to have things to keep you awake. I drink coffee though, so I was feeling pretty dead by the end. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not really sure exactly how I would do that. Jake, what's up? Welcome back. How's it going? But having the bar be open for 24 hours and having different guests could be a fun idea. I just don't know how I would cover like the 2 a.m. to like 8 a.m. I don't know who I could get to cover that time slot for me. It can't be Jean-Luc because Jean-Luc works like a regular job where he has to get up super early already anyway. Coffee or tea from Cubics? I prefer coffee. 9 times out of 10. I'll drink tea for like medicinal reasons. I'll drink tea with a purpose. The only reason I'll drink coffee is because I need the energy. But I'll drink chamomile tea if I'm feeling stuffy because it's a natural antihistamine. I'll drink red chai. Red chai is not like a a natural antihistamine, but because of the flavor, it does tend to open up your sinuses too. Green tea or black tea for energy, black tea with milk, green tea without milk. Different stuff like that. If you had to choose, by the way, Mr. Orange, welcome, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. How's it going? If you had to choose, would you rather have a fight with 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? I would fight one horse-sized duck because birds have hollow bones, and if there were a horse-sized duck, it would not be able to support its own weight. It would die. Not instantly, slowly and painfully. It would just die under the weight of its own size. That's why birds are all, like, relatively small. It's the easiest question I've got all day. I'm the opposite. I enjoy tea, but I only drink coffee with the purpose of energy when needed. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was more into drinking tea. I just, like, I'm never sitting alone going, you know what I could really use right now? A good cuppa. Like, I'm not that guy. I would rather be, you know what I need right now? A shot. I need a shot of whiskey or something. Speaking of which, I've probably missed a shot 30 or shot 45 by this point. What if it had the bones of a horse? I think I'd still fight that because by mass, the duck-sized horses would be way more massive because of how their muscle mass is, like, so dense. Because, like, my immediate thought is, like, if I was fighting 100 duck-sized horses, it would be to try and, like, break their necks by, like, kicking them, basically. But you can't really do that with a horse because their necks are so thick with corded muscle, and so is the rest of their body. So yeah, without having some kind of weapon, that would be nearly impossible. Like, you would literally just get stampeded. But yeah, I think I'd stick with the horse-sized duck. I'll just tire it out. I'll just make it chase me around. Because even if it had horse bone mass, it wouldn't be able to move for very long by nature of being warm-blooded. Picturing that big duck is a bizarre image. I mean, I guess it depends on the horse too, right? Like, because if it's like a Clydesdale or like a Shire horse, then it would be like that tall, like as big as a moose, like 8 feet tall, 7-8 feet tall. But if it was like an equestrian horse, then it might be like here. So it'd be like fighting a human-sized duck. I'm like 6 feet tall, by the way. So if that helps anyone with like the imagery, somebody look up how tall a horse is on average. Celestial Doom, by the way, thank you for tuning in, showing up on Twitch. I appreciate it. I never drank any coffee or energy drinks. Would you say they, would you say they're helpful? I think is probably what you're asking. It depends. I actually didn't like coffee and didn't drink coffee really at all until I became a barista. And then one day, one of my co-workers just told me, like, dude, just like make yourself a drink. I don't care how much sugar or how weird you need to make it. Just like make yourself a drink that you think you'll like. And then as soon as I finished my drink, I immediately understood, like, because once I was that well caffeinated, it's like more caffeine than I'd ever had in my life. Once I was that well caffeinated, I was everybody's best friend. And I am the most introverted person that I know. And I deal with a lot of like social anxiety and other weird feelings. And just the coffee helped me get over that to get through my shift. The toxicity though, the problem is that when you become dependent on that surge of energy and it slowly tapers off, it begins to not have the same effect. Which gets worse when you start going to the gym and you take pre-workout, which is another thing that I did. But I think at my peak, I was drinking more than a gram of caffeine in a day. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Oscar Wilde quote. 4.7 to 6 feet. That's the average height of an... Hell yeah! I could absolutely wreck a 4.5 foot tall duck. A 4.5 foot tall duck would be like... I don't know, I'm really bad at... My depth perception is terrible. I do know that a 6 foot tall duck would be here, because I'm almost 6 feet. So... There? It'd be like at my chest? Yeah, so I would just like wrestle it and break its neck. Wait, hold on, sorry. I don't know why I went immediately to the lethal option. Do I need to kill the thing that I'm fighting, or do I just need to, like, I don't know, submit it? I assumed that I needed to kill it because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get it to run away. And that doesn't sound like a victory to me. If they came into a bar, I would rather serve 100 duck-sized horses. Because money. As long as they're tipping. Wait, ain't their beaks strong as heck? Couldn't it just twist its neck and chomp your head? No. God, no, they have almost no bite force whatsoever. They're just terrifying. Like, if you've ever... I don't like geese. I know that it wouldn't hurt to get... I've been bit by birds before. But, like, flat-billed birds don't typically have, like, any significant bite force. Because they don't really need to use that to chew anything significant. A lot of what they're chewing is already soft, like fruit, grass, worms, bugs. They're not chewing, like, thick corded meat, like they're not going out and eating like steak dinners. Give me a bottle. Come and get it, Jake. Pry it from my cold, wet hands. Time zones. Der Erkin, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on Twitch. How's it going? Over here at 3 a.m. Hold on. That means you are in Europe? That's GMT, I think. Greenwich Mean Time. Oh, are you in Germany? A horse walks into a bar. The bartender said, "Why the long face?" The horse immediately calls for his 99 friends, and they're all the size of ducks. And they begin to, like, stampede and trample the bartender. Yep, Eastern Europe. Ah, haha. Cool, cool. 2 a.m. here. Look at us. EU night owls. You gave me a Russian accent, and then you said you have to pry it from your cold... No, I said my cold, wet hands, not my cold, dead hands. Jake could kill me relatively easily. Also, you probably have an easy time prying it from my cold, wet hands, because they'd be cold, so I probably wouldn't be able to feel them so good. And they'd be wet, so the bottle would slip out pretty easy. What I'm saying is I wouldn't really put up a fight. That's all. Favorite flare move. It always, I don't know why, when I do it on one side for long enough, it just feels weird to do it at all on my left side. This is pretty easy, because the center for this bottle, the center of gravity of the bottle is like pretty dead center of the bottle itself. Could I do it upright? Could I do it same side? Yeah. It's so dainty when I do it left-handed. I feel like when I do it right-handed, I'm like... When I do it left-handed, it's like... Love you, bro. I gotta get a bottle to practice with. I feel like if you got one you would just be like watching TV, just like spinning it around in your hand, just like trying different grips and like throwing it around. And then you'd visit me one day and you'd just be like, yeah, I learned this one trick, and you just like roll it around without looking at anything. Woo. Do you believe in a god? From Mr. Orange. I don't talk about a few things at the bar. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about religion. Those are really the two main ones. And then I guess the other thing that I don't talk about is sex, because that's just not really the right atmosphere to talk about it. I'm having this problem currently in school, but what would you do if you're trying to make friends, but you find yourself always carrying the conversation? Ask them questions. Ask them questions, and when they seem interested in something, ask them questions about that specifically. So for me, I was really introverted, but I learned how to figure out what people were excited about whenever we were talking. I had the really bad habit of talking about what we went over in class, which obviously didn't work because everyone could care less typically. So instead, I started talking about what I was interested in, and then I'd ask them, like, hey, like, what do you do when you're not at school? Like, what do you, like, when you're not at school, or you're not playing rugby or doing gymnastics or what other, like, extracurricular school-related things people do? It's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do for fun? Do you play video games? Do you play music? Do you just flip through TikTok? Because you can make conversations out of all of those things. Like, if they're like, oh, well, in my free time, I like to play the guitar. Then it'd be like, okay, cool. What kind of music do you play? Like, are you self-taught? Can you read music? You can ask a lot more questions like that. Like, try to keep in mind how interested they are in the conversation, because some people will just give you, like, a token response. What do you do when you're not at school? I play video games. Okay, cool. What kind of video games do you play? Like, Call of Duty. Like, they might play video games, but that's not something they're passionate about. The secret is to figure out something that really excites people. For some people, it's going to be easy. It's going to be like, oh, I play video games and I really like the latest Call of Duty. For other people, it's going to take some digging before you realize they really like perusing Wattpad to find Harry Potter fanfiction. But, like, do the digging. You have to be interested too. That's also what I do as a bartender. That's how I have conversations as a bartender. What is your favorite tequila? I don't know that I have one. Don Julio 1942. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that expensive. I really like... I think Añejo tequila might be my favorite just in, like, style in general. That's not a brand, by the way. Añejo tequila is just, like, tequila that's been aged. I think it's anywhere from, like, 1 year to 3 years, I think, or something like that. Somebody look it up. I don't remember exactly. So it's, like, the whiskey version of tequila. But I think the bottle that I pick up most often is... My favorite tequila is Mezcal. No, the bottle I pick up most often is Espolón, but I typically get their Blanco tequila. My profile picture is from ages ago, by the way. That's fair. As soon as you find the Wattpad person, you run away. Yep, that's fair. That's really all that people use that for, I'm assuming, right? Because that's the only time I've had it, like, come up in conversation. The only reason I know what Wattpad is, or however it's pronounced, is because I had 2 followers who wrote 2 episodes, I guess, or 2 chapters of fan fiction about me. Which is just so weird. So misguided. Oh yeah, also, Mr. Orange, like, don't ask people for their age online. Kind of suspect. How old do you guys think I am? Jake knows how old I am, I think, hopefully. Also, wait, Jake, isn't your birthday today? Aren't yours and Terrell's birthdays today? Just be yourself and you'll find good friends at some point. 28. Mr. Orange thinks I'm pretty close. I had an ex in high school who liked Wattpad a little too much. I mean, that makes sense, I guess, on some level. I feel like when you're a kid and the kid is not, it's pejorative, I feel like, in this instance. So not kid. When you're becoming an adult and you're trying to figure out yourself, like you're trying to really establish your identity and figure out what you're about, there's no right or wrong way to go about doing it. But when you're in high school, you can absorb so much like social information at once that like finding websites like Wattpad seems appealing, I guess. So that's why a lot of young adults, we'll call them, end up over there. And Tumblr too. But I think Tumblr might be out of fashion with the younger generation now. I don't really remember much of high school, really. I mean, I don't remember much of my classes, I guess. I do remember my friends really well. I wonder what they did. I wish, man, we didn't get to have a reunion because they just, like, no one had any funding, so there was no reunion. I really wish we could have, because that would have been right when I was becoming really popular on social media. And I could have gone back and been like, suck it! Look at me now! Behold, me in all of my glory. Whereas, like, they're all doctors and boring No. I actually don't know what most of them are doing. I think my friends, well, I know where Nick is, and I know where Jake is. He's in the comment section here. But yeah, most of my friends are doing well, which is actually kind of nice. I just realized the music was playing out of that speaker. There we go. Ain't that the dream? I want to do that at my reunion too, only I have nothing to show. Not yet. I didn't have anything to really show at my reunion for a really long time until all of this stuff took off. I was not looking forward to going back to my reunion and being like, what are you doing now? I'm a bartender, or bar manager, and in my free time I live stream on Twitch. It's pretty cool. But now I can say, like, oh, like, what are you doing now? Well, I live stream across a bunch of different platforms. I have over 1.5 million followers across different social media platforms, which makes me also one of the most followed bartenders in the world. I think I'm still in the top 10, which also is a shorthand way of saying I'm one of the most well-known bartenders in the world. It's one of those things where if you have to say it out loud, it doesn't really count. Which is also why when people are like, how does it feel to be famous? I'm like, first of all, I'm not famous. How does it feel to be popular? It feels pretty cool. I was never really popular growing up. Not yet, that's true. I really want to open my own pub someday, but don't think I'll have time time for it before the reunion. Well, no, there's other things you can do. Planning is key. So, like, one way that I definitely really slowed myself down and, like, shot myself in the foot was I always wanted, like, the popularity and the social media following and stuff like that, and I always wanted to do this full time. I had no plan for what I would do if I could pull it off. How's Gucci? Gucci, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. How's it feel being famous? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'll ask Ryan next time we're hanging out. I feel kind of bad that we didn't like live stream or make any content or anything while he was here. But by the time he got to the bar, it was after his set. He was supposed to go to Nashville that night. he just like, he made the time to come over and just hang out. So I was like, hey, like, do you want to live stream or record some videos? And he told me, hey, dude, like, whatever you're up for, I'm up for anything. And so I said, you know what? I spend so much of my time, like, in front of cameras and just, like, being visible that it would actually just be nice to just hang out with you if that's cool. Like, and you sit down and I'll make you some drinks and we'll talk about life and TikTok and stuff like that. And he seemed to really appreciate that. I think he was a little bit more open with me because of that. I think that was like a hair trapped in my mouth. If two vegans are arguing, is it still considered beef? I guess that's... What is the burger called? The Impossible Burger? Then it's Impossible Beef. Which is hilarious because I don't think I've seen anyone like disagree with anyone else as much as vegans. No, well, that's not true. Youth Pastor Ryan. He has unless he gained a lot more followers recently, which he might have. He has 3.4 million followers on TikTok. He's partnered on Twitch. He's kind of a big deal. But yeah, we're friends through TikTok and then Twitch, and then finally I got to meet him in person and we just hung out. Oh, that Ryan. Yep, that Ryan. We just hung out. He had to remind me to take a photo. He was like, we at least need to do like a selfie really quick, and so he posted one on Instagram. I think if we had if we had more time and it wasn't like we were coming together to hang out in the middle of the night, we probably would have like made plans to, oh, okay, well, why don't we try and record like 3 TikToks, like you think of an idea, I'll think of an idea, and then we'll think of a random one when we're there, and then we'll do like a 2-hour live stream on Twitch. Like, we could have done it a lot better, but I know what it's like to be under the pressure of a production schedule, and I was like, this doesn't need to be that. This can just be us hanging out if that's cool. And he was like, yeah, that sounds great. He was so exhausted. In a good way. He was managing very well. And he only had, I think, half of one drink. So, also incredibly responsible. Like, not surprised. Well, it's a little bit surprising because I've gotten... Ryan and I have over-imbibed on stream once before. I only know that it happened because I don't remember. Now I remember most of the night, actually, it turns out. I woke up with such a horrible hangover the next day, and I remember I was like, all I could think was like, oh no, they're all gonna... Because I was playing Pummel Party with Ryan, but we were also playing with Bar None, Snickle, your narrator, and Megan, I think, his old roommate. I think we were playing with. I don't think we were playing with Jennings or any of them, but how many tattoos? Just the one, just this guy. Ask mandatory question. Just the one. I got it in memory of my dad. Years after he passed, I was thinking about the same tattoo idea for all those years, and then finally I had the opportunity to go out and get it, so I went and did it. My tattoo artist was a little bit apprehensive because he was like, yo man, where do you want that tattoo again? And I was like, I want it like here, and if you could just make it just as big as my hand, that would be nice. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, just like there, like inside my arm. And he was like, okay, and just went to town. It came out a little bit bigger than I was expecting, but that's fine. TikTok idea from Gucci Gang. Ryan comes in going, yeah, mom, I'm not gonna drink. You wearing a skimpy devil's outfit holding a bottle of white rum. You sure about that, Ryan? That doesn't sound like a TikTok skit. That sounds like an entry on Wattpad. It looks great with a great but I bet more will be coming in the future. Yep, so one of the reasons I haven't gotten another tattoo is because this one is so packed with meaning. And the meaning, the thing that this is in memory of, is so permanent and irreversible that it makes sense to get something permanent and irreversible on my body. Like, I'm never gonna be like, oh shoot, my dad came back from the dead. What am I gonna tell people about my tattoo now? Like, I'd probably just be ecstatic. No, not W-H-A-T, W-A-T-T, Watt. So I think one of the next tattoos that I want to get is one in memory of my daughter, but I sort of want to do the same thing I did. My daughter's alive, by the way, but I mean, like, in the way that having a daughter, being a dad, is something that's always going to be, like, permanent in my life from now on. I'd like to get a tattoo in, like, symbolizing that as well. But I want to spend, like, a couple of years thinking about it. I also, which might sound stupid, I don't want to get a tattoo that will embarrass her later on, or that won't make sense to her later on. He was responsible, though. That's good. Yeah. Oh, he was having such a... I mean... He seemed, like, genuinely happy. Which made me happy, which was nice. Doesn't sound stupid. Well, I mean, like, I don't want her to be... She's probably not gonna like me when she's a teenager anyway, but, like, my nightmare is that, like, she'll be embarrassed by my tattoos. Especially if I, like, get one that's, like, that she thinks is goofy, and I'm like, that's the one for you! And it's, like, a rabbit or something. Because the first idea that I had was to get, like, a rabbit running through ivy, and the ivy would come down my arm, because I really like having, like, color in my tattoos. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, rabbits have, like, some extra symbology. The reason we were gonna go with the rabbit, though, was because, when she was born, we called her our struggle bunny. So, and also I think rabbits are just, they look cool in tattoos. But I mean, she might outgrow that. We might outgrow calling her that, so I might get something else instead. When was the first time you got drunk? I don't really super duper remember. I can tell you my earliest memory of getting drunk was when I grabbed a bunch of beer from the fridge to go to my friend's house when I was way too young to be drinking. And then luckily, because I thought it was soda. I had a really bad habit of drinking soda during the day, which always came in a can in my house. We didn't have bottled sodas. So we were out of soda one day, and I saw these cans that my dad was always drinking out of. And so I was like, oh, let me try one of those. And I was like, that tastes not great, but I guess it's soda, and I like soda. So I grabbed like 3 of those to take to my friend's house in a lunchbox that my parents didn't check. And then we got there, and I like opened one up and started drinking it, and my friend was like, you know that's beer, right? And I was like, no, what's beer? I think it was like Bud Light. Maybe just not a portrait. Portrait tats are always risky. Yeah, especially like when I get older. I would hate if I got a portrait of her as a baby and then I get older and it's just like wrinkly and terrible and just looks like a deformed teddy bear. I don't think she'll find it weird at all unless you try to make it weird. I think you'll be able to choose something both of you really like. Well, or I think I agree with you. I think if I get a tattoo like for her, not of her, God no, but like a tattoo to commemorate her and how she's like permanent in my life, I think the best thing to do might just be to like not tell her like how significant that is until she's a lot older, and then let her realize on her own like how significant it is that I wanted that permanently on my body. Also, as a dad, it gives me a reason to talk about my daughter all the time, which is great. I love talking about her more than I like talking about myself. Isn't the wrinkly, terrible stage inevitable? Yeah, but it's more palatable if you don't have, like, a face there. Like, I feel like this one... Camera 1. I feel like this, like, when the skin around my arm begins to, like, sag or whatever, it'll still be identifiable, hopefully. But, like, getting something like a face... I feel like maybe the line work around the hands might droop a little bit. By the way, this tattoo is... 3 or 4 years old. Jake might remember better than I do, because we got tattoos at the same time. It's about 3 or 4 years old, and it's holding up really well. When I go in to get a tattoo, saying getting a tattoo for my daughter sounds weird. The next time I go in to get a tattoo, I might just ask them to, like, go in and touch up some of the lines and some of the shading, especially in the colors, because, like, it's hard to tell on camera, but the roses aren't actually fully colored in. There's still some, like, flesh tone right here. So maybe getting that filled with something. Bud Light, Pepsi, same thing. One of them will kill you quicker. It's the Bud Light. Did your father play the harmonica? Yep, he did. Actually. Nope, that's a set of microphones. This is not his harmonica. These are mine. I think it's a chromatic set, though. Harmonicas come in different keys. Yeah, these are all mine. I stole one of these. I don't know what keys these are in anymore. This one's in the key of D. Key of C. So this would be like your regular one. That just has like regular notes, no flats, no sharps. I wasn't expecting him to pull out an entire set, not gonna lie. If you look around, we'll look around together. We'll use camera 4 for this. So those I keep them down there under the bar. I have 6. One of them is two-toned. I think 2 of them are in the key of C, one of them is in the key of D, and one of them is in the key of G. The only kind that would have all of your notes would be like a fully chromatic one, which is the one my dad played, which should have, can't see it there, but normally it would have like a slider for your thumb to change your notes. But let's look around the bar really quick. So, ukulele, mandolin, violin, there's a guitar over there, scoot under the camera. There's another guitar right there. There's a cello next to it that you can't really super duper see, and I don't want to move the camera too much. Back over here, back this way, there's another guitar. That's a classical guitar, which means that it has nylon strings. There's a keyboard, obviously, that you can see there. There's also, I feel like I'm gonna forget something. There's an accordion next to the stairs, which is probably the most expensive instrument that I have. It's a gift from my grandfather and my mom. What all instruments do you play? I know how to play all of those ones that I just mentioned. I also know how to play the trumpet, and I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting. I feel like it's another woodwind. But yeah, I think that I know how to play something like 9 different instruments. I forget what they all are sometimes. So, but I haven't played the harmonica in 9 years. So I remember how to play it. I don't remember where all of the notes are. Wow, your plate. Camera 3. There we go. Wow, your place would make a great man cave. Thank you. Yeah, I try. One of my dreams when I was first setting this up, because like we didn't have all of the instruments down here originally. Originally they were just scattered around my room. But one of my dreams was that we would use some of the extra space that we have down here for like musical guests, so that if I had anyone showing up that was like either just really good at playing guitar or piano or whatever, they could do that. Or if I had someone showing up that like I knew was an actual professional musician, I could tell them like, hey, like, do you want to do a set to introduce the show and like you'll be our musical guest? That's something that I really actually do want to build up into. And when we move, I think at the end of January, one of the goals for the next setup is to have that space so that we can invite people out for that too. And we also have a choice between a few different kinds of pianos that we might take with us. There's this one I think has 61 keys, and the keys are shrunk, and they're pressure sensitive, but they're not hammer weighted. So the other pianos that we have are actual pianos. They're not keyboards. We have a grand piano. Well, I think it's technically a baby grand piano that I think I've posted on TikTok before. I've tuned it, or I tuned the parts of it that I needed to use, because tuning a piano takes forever. And then we have an upright piano here that is the one I would really like to hold on to for as long as possible, because that's the piano that my dad brought here from Belgium. Needless to say, it needs to get fixed. I think it would take anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to actually fix that piano, but that would be like an heirloom. It would also be easier to fit in a bar space than a full, but like a baby grand piano. The difference, by the way, is it's like a couple of feet. You have like a concert grand, which is the kind that goes like super duper long, because it has to make enough noise to fill an auditorium. Then you have your regular grand piano, which is like meant to make enough noise to fill like a house. And then you have a baby grand piano, which is meant to make enough noise to fill, like your living room. So the baby grand piano that we have is like, I think, maybe about as long as the bar. A little bit shorter than this bar. But yeah, that's actually my favorite instrument to play. The first time I tuned a piano, actually, we got one from we salvaged a piano. And we put it in the workshop that we have here, and this is how I taught myself how to tune the piano. I would just go out there every day and I would tune like 2 or 3 strings at a time, and then like play something, and I would like open up a beer and I'd just like drink beer and tune the piano and play piano. John, like, did you want to be on stream? Lame. There he is!
Hello!
The man, the myth, the manager! What did you want a shot of?
I don't know, something, whatever happened to that butterfly? Tequila.
Alright, I'm going to take shots of my cheap tequila. Cheap tequila!
Excuse me. I've been up all day.
No, I guess I passed out for like 20 minutes at one point. Huh. You finished it?
No, it doesn't.
Oh boy. Why not get an upright one to save some space? We do have a full-sized upright piano upstairs. That's the one I'd like to take with us, but I can't do the repairs to the piano because I don't know how. It needs a lot of, I forget what the exact term is, but it's something like pitching needs to happen to it, where and some of it needs to be restrung, and like some of the hammers and things need to be completely redone. It needs to be like overhauled basically. The reason we have a grand piano in the first place is because we just happened to find one for a really good deal. We found there was one that was basically trapped in a foreclosed house, and they were like, hey, if you have $200 and you can get it out of the house, you can have it. So we were like, I bet. So John Luke and I went over there and took a grand piano out of the house. Loriander, welcome back. How's it going? I would rather, I think stylistically, I like the feel of having a grand piano, but like if we don't have enough room, then we're probably going to just, we're going to go with the upright piano. I would just rather go with one that works. Or I'll have to do a whole crowdfunding thing where I make a video telling people like, hey, here's the piano that my dad taught himself how to play. It was like the most expensive thing his family had back in Belgium. It was one of the only things that survived the move here from there. So it is very much like a precious like family heirloom. And back then, like, it was the only source of entertainment that they had too. Like, they had like dolls and toys and they had land to run around, but as far as like things that the whole family would do, it was the harmonica and the piano, and that's it. Good, how are you? I'm doing well. Yeah, I get it, those fixes are lots of money. I might do, I don't like asking for money, but I might do a crowdfunding campaign where I'm like, hey, like, this is the price of getting this piano like completely fixed and done for the move. And moving the piano, I'm pretty sure we can do, because John Luke and I have moved a grand piano before, and those are a much larger pain in the ass. I've restored 2 different ones and have a few lined up. Oh, cool. Hair routine from Kylan. I let it grow out, and then I forget that it's there until it's in my face. I honestly don't do very much to my hair. I should do more. I wash it. I try to wash it like once a week. Sometimes I forget because I'm busy, and I, like, between being a dad and being a full-time content creator, and like the home situation that I have, I don't really have a lot of time to like go in the shower and actually like wash, because washing long hair is a whole thing, because you don't just think about washing it, which takes longer. You also have to think about like how long it's going to take to dry, and then what you need to do to it, like in its varying stages of when it's drying. But in general, if it helps, I use what I think is a low pH or a low acidity shampoo, and then like a cleansing conditioner, and then I try and like squeeze the moisture out of it instead of pulling or wringing the moisture out of it, because that's not good for your hair. You'll like rip and tear your hair, you'll create new split ends when you do stuff like that. So I'll try to grab it and just squeeze it out like that, and then once it's like almost drip dry, I'll put it in a towel for 20 to 30 minutes, and then once it's out of the towel, I will put mousse in it, and then I'll let it dry naturally like that, and then once it's dry, I'll put gel in it, and then sometimes, like when I don't have the time to wash it, I'll use dry shampoo, which we used today, and then if I'm going out, I'll use more of the gel because it works really, really well on dry hair. Miss my long hair, but I guess not getting mistaken for a girl is better. I I've been mistaken for a girl before, but I think only just like pejoratively, like just to get under my skin. Already got catcalled enough times. I kind of miss my short hair, but not like short. I look so weird with like actually properly short hair. I feel like I have an oddly shaped head. So like, I feel like my head is too oval to have short hair. So like when it's short and the top grows out, it just looks like a flat top. So my whole face just looks longer. So I feel like I almost like have to have long hair so that it feels like the shape of my head looks normal. I think if I cut my hair short, it would actually just be medium long. It'd probably be like up to here so that it doesn't fall in my eyes so much anymore. My issue though is that I like being able to pull all of my hair back. I like being able to do that. I've also realized camera 1 is not aligned correctly. How expensive is that pebble machine? I think it's $300. I feel you don't need both a pebble and an ice cube machine for home use. Well, I don't shake or stir my cocktails with the pebble ice. I shake and stir my cocktails with like regular ice out of my freezer or ice out of this other ice maker that I have. I was given both of the two ice makers that I have on the bar. So, but yeah, no, you're right. You shouldn't need both. I would only recommend having the pebble ice if you want to have higher quality ice to serve your cocktails on. You really shouldn't be shaking them with that. Because you would need to use a lot of it, and you would have to shake it really fast, and you would kind of waste most of it. Edna Mode-esque, and that's a compliment. I need to go back and just see like what my most popular TikToks are, and then just be like, that's how short I want my hair to be. That's it. Because I do miss when it was like, it was short enough that if I pulled it over to the side, it was still like floofy. And like now, for this one instant, that looks fine. But as soon as I start moving around, or like when I was at work, I would look down in my well, and then everything, all bets are off, everything goes to shit. There's also this, which is going gray, which is going to be super duper fun later. Gotta get the Karen Bob. God, no, please. Please, no. I feel like the male, like, what's the male equivalent of, like, the Karen haircut? I feel like it's either like the bald head or like the generic I was gonna say high and tight, but that's not what I'm thinking of. Like the regular crew cut, yeah. So just like your regular white guy haircuts. Can you put your hair in a ponytail so we can see? Yeah, I'd be happy to if you want to give me a second to see if I can find a hair tie. I used to keep a lot of hair ties down here in the bar. I don't know what happened to all of them. I have a clear ice cube machine that does 1 by 1 by 1 inch cubes. I also make my own blocks to cut into glass size pieces. Then I have an ice crusher for tiki stuff. Wow. At home? Like, that's seriously impressive. I wish I had those things. I would take any one of those things over the pebble ice maker that I have. I could make my own ice, but I'm not here consistently enough to actually do that. Because I would have to use directional freezing. I would have to use the trick where you put it in like a cooler and you put it in the freezer and then you pull it out when it's like half frozen. That's a lot of fancy stuff for my cheap ass. I mean, that's fair. You don't need you don't even need all of the stuff that I have here. I'm sure you have a TikTok where you have a ponytail somewhere. Yeah, I'm positive that I do. But now I'm trying to figure out where all of my hair ties are. Very suspicious. 7 years of collecting bar stuff. Yep, that'll do it. You can acquire nearly anything if you give yourself enough time. Not a TikTok follower, just here on Twitch from time to time. How novel. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. And I still don't have a actual bar. Do you have like a bar cart or like a bar area? Because a lot of people don't have like a bar top area, but I have seen a lot of bar setups that are just as good as this one. They just don't have a bar. It's just like a back bar area that's like this. Sometimes it's even like in a closet. I've thought about converting, there's a cabinet over there in the corner that you may have seen when I turned camera 4 around. That it's a corner cabinet, so it fits, it's meant to like go into a 90-degree corner. I've thought about converting the inside of that, because right now it just holds a TV that we don't use for anything. I've thought about converting the inside of that into like tiered shelves, and then like an ice well and stuff. My bar is a large bookshelf. I've seen a lot of really good bookshelf bars. I have a bar area, but I'm looking at a pull-out bar. I might buy it. Pull-out bar. You mean like you would have the bar here and you would pull it out like that? Or... I need details. You guys have bars? Yeah, but not the fun kind. Stuff in my eyes. It's the thing I'm excited for, but also intimidated by moving, is like designing everything here and trying to build all of this takes almost as much work as like designing and building a kitchen. And if you've ever seen anything about like construction or remodeling or interior design, the kitchen is like the hardest, most annoying, time-consuming, and meticulous area where you will lose most of your money. Because like shelving is complicated, plumbing is complicated, so many things. The electrical, having to have plugs for all of the appliances and things that you need here, having all of the storage that you need, and then when we rebuild the bar, one of the things there are a few things that I want to add, like having a rinser and potentially having the sink in this, like on the front instead of on the back, so that I don't ever need to turn my back to you guys during my live streams. I could just like rinse things here and put them away, you know, wherever. Having an ice well, having a rinser, moving the sink, making the ice maker a little bit easier to reach, putting a fridge and a freezer under the bar, because like technically we have the room for those here if we could find the right ones, but it's not really worth the investment now. But just having a spot where like I could put my vermouths and cordials and syrups and stuff like that without having to go like 20 feet over there to the other fridge that we have. Well, I was going to post a picture of it in your Discord, but I don't have permission in any of the text channels. That's weird. There may be a channel specifically for pictures, but it also may be because you haven't confirmed your age on there. You have to react to some of the rules. One of them specifically gives you the 18 and over role, and if you're 18 and over, those are the only people who are allowed to post pictures and links, I think. AdLab, Adam, welcome back, man. How's it going? How you been? It is Adam, right? I'm gonna feel so terrible if I'm wrong. Actually, it's John. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure it's Adam. You could also DM me the picture on Discord. It is. Victory! My Nana has a food bar on the... My Nana... What is a food bar? Oh, sorry. I'll read the whole comment. My Nana has a food bar on the first floor, and in the basement, my Papa has an actual bar at their house. Punctuation is important. It sounds like your Nana has a food bar, which in my... I can't be right about this, but in my brain, it sounds like a salad bar. Which doesn't sound right. I don't know why anyone would want one of those in their home, so I'm probably misinterpreting something. And your dad has an actual bar in the basement of his house, I think. Been good, don't work at the hospital anymore. Oh, okay. Well, like in a good way? Like, I hope you're still employed and, like, making money and making a living, hopefully, right? Lori Anders sent me the pics. Oh, that's what you meant. I'm an idiot. There we go. I know my camera setup. It's probably going to be easier on camera 4 though. That's it. The bar, I think by... So yeah, it flips out, I think. Like that. That's nice. I mean, that might be perfect. I couldn't use something like that because I'm so bad with anything modular because of my ADD that, like, anything that can be, like, put away or, like, change shape to change its purpose doesn't work with my brain because I'm just like, oh, I'll leave it in that shape forever. Like, in that instance, I would probably just leave the bar folded out forever. I was fired, but I'm in a much better place now. I get to spend more time with my family. Cool. It's good to hear. Shoon Mine, what's up, man? Welcome back. Congrats on not getting your comment held by Automod. Food bar is kitchen counter? I have no idea what it is. Well, or it might be like an island or something. I didn't realize you had a Discord. I am now in the Discord. I mean, there's a lot of people in there, but it's relatively inactive. I mean, it's a good place to send me DMs because I do actually read my DMs on Discord. And it's actually, by the way, fun fact, I would rather read all of my DMs from, like, viewers and supporters through Discord than anywhere else. It gets really confusing for me when I have to sift through stuff that I get on Instagram, which is like 50-50 people just reaching out to be like, hey, good post, good hair, I would sleep with you, and then, like, the other half is like, hey, would you like to partner with us? And I need to be able to tell the difference very quickly. So I tend to, like, when I see comments or DMs on Instagram that are just like, dude, that was really funny, I tend to, like, open it up and then immediately go to the next one because I'm trying to find where the business ones are, and then I forget to respond to the personal ones there. I'm still trying to figure out what a food bar is. Also, I just realized I need to bring one of these bottles home with me. I don't know which one. Oh, but I do know. This reminds me, I was gonna do a video on TikTok about like some easy and safe flare movements that aren't even technically flare, but they're safe because like the bottle never really leaves your hand, so it's very low risk. Cheers, guys. I just want another shot, so I poured myself one. What should we DM you? Casually asking how life's going, maybe? Yeah, you're more than welcome to do that. Just don't do it every day, because that'd be weird. But I do appreciate some checkups from some of my like friends and followers and supporters, like when... Because sometimes I'll post something in the middle of a manic episode, and people who watch all of my stuff, you guys, most of you guys, I've seen you in multiple live streams, will notice like he doesn't normally act that way, and so sometimes I'll have people reach out and be like, hey, I just noticed you were like, you felt different in your video. I just wanted to make sure like you're still in a good place. And I'm like, hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel fine, even if I'm lying. But like, I appreciate that you reach out. Bring some home from Hannah. I plan to. I was gonna try and pour the cheap tequila into the not cheap tequila and see if you notice the difference. But I think higher of you than that. I don't know what I would bring though. On an ordinary day, wouldn't take shots of any of that stuff. Maybe I should download TikTok then. No, you don't have to do that. It'll waste so much of your time. I didn't really know what to call it, but it's the shape of a bar, but only food is served. I think it's a kitchen island. I think. Does it connect to the wall? Does it connect to the wall, or does it just come out of the ground?
It's never too late to admit when you're on. Turn on your leaf, see a news on. The time to decide.
What is the most expensive drink you've had? I got to taste a pre-prohibition rye whiskey that was, the bottle was $7,500. That's the most expensive drink that I've had. If you put not 100% agave tequila, I will know. Yeah, I think anyone would. Like, the difference is pretty amazing. Like, it's a huge gap in quality. What is your favorite? Oh, sushi! What is up, sushi? Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate it. My favorite food, sushi is up there, but I don't think it's necessarily my favorite food. Mostly because here it tends to be cost prohibitive. I don't... Two things spring to mind. One, I really like the way my dad used to make mashed potatoes, which is now the way that I make mashed potatoes. And I'm not going to tell you how to make them because it's my secret now. It will die with me or with my daughter or whoever else decides to learn it in my family. But I make it every Thanksgiving and Christmas. My favorite dish my signature dish would be a, is it buttered? No, just gray salted salmon. Very simple, very easy, served with a side of asparagus. And then my favorite dish that my mom makes is her spaghetti and meat sauce. If I had a last meal, it would be those three things. Yes, it connects to the wall. It's like, I feel like I can picture it. Is it like one of those bars where like it's like a hole in the wall almost? Or like it leads into the living room and there are bar stools on the other side, but it's kind of... I think I can see it now. Yeah, that's a regular bar, by the way. That's a kitchen bar. Yeah, I mean, that's a regular bar. It's just as good as this. It's just that I have shelves designed to hold liquor back here. But I don't have a fridge. I happen to have a sink, thank God. It connects to the wall, Education Peninsula. What? I've had King Louis before. It was when I was in college. Why did you have... By the way, there's different kinds of Louis, for the record. I was a regular at a bar, and a man ordered it, but the card declined, so they gave it to me for free since they were just going to pour it down the drain. My bartender was very happy with the $275 tip. Yeah, I mean, I would be stoked too. But I probably would have asked for that guy's card in the first place. I would have been like, oh, you want Louis? Cool, cool. Can I just grab your card to start a tab? And then it would have bounced, and I'd been like, ah, sorry, bud. Happy Sunday, Nico. Chief Justice, welcome back. How's it going? Hope you've had a solid weekend. Yeah, so far so good. Technically still the weekend, Sunday. Kitchen. It's a kitchen peninsula? I think I can see it now. I don't really know a good way to describe it to everyone else, but like, you know how sometimes in kitchens, like, you have like your countertop and your fridge and stuff is connected to the wall, and then there happens to be like a little like breakfast, not a breakfast nook, but just happens to be a bar connected that has stools, and the bar is the separation between the kitchen and the living room. I feel like it's one of those situations. Best liquor I've had besides Shun Mine, by the way, if anyone hasn't put this together, makes his own moonshine. It's restaurant week here in Arizona, so it's been such chaos. Yeah, I do not envy you. My bar participated in restaurant week 1 week, and it like nearly broke us. Not us. That's not 100% accurate. It nearly broke everyone but me and one other person. And literally because we got on the floor together. Yeah, I was on the floor for restaurant week, not behind the bar. First mistake. But anyway, they were like, hey, we need more servers because volume is crazy. And I was like, that's weird because so many people are standing at the bar and all of the other bartenders are slower than I am, but whatever. So I decided to get on the floor. I had a 14 table section. And I was working next to Drew, who is the GM of the bar now. You guys have seen him on the live stream, some of you. And so I just grabbed him and I was like, dude, you know how we pool tips? And he's like, yeah, I'm keenly fucking aware. And I go, okay, cool, great. So, if you see one of my tables sit down, greet them. And if I see one of your tables sit down, I will greet them. And he goes, yeah, okay, sounds like a solid plan. And I'm, great, cool, fantastic. And because of that, and this is restaurant week, which, by the way, if you guys are unfamiliar, at least in Charlotte, the way it works is you pay a flat fee for a relatively predetermined 3-course dinner. We decided that we would add pairings to each of these courses. Now, here's the thing. People are terrible. So even though it's supposed to be a predetermined dinner, people would show up and be like, hey, we're going to pay the $35 each and we're going to do restaurant week. And we're like, cool, great. $70 already? That means I'm probably already getting a $15 tip. Cool. Go ahead, sit down, let me know what you want and when you want it. And then people, of course, would go, well, hey, can we see your regular menu? And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, you can see the regular menu. And then they'd be like, we want the restaurant week menu. But can we do this instead of our appetizer and then this instead of our entree, like picking things off of the regular menu? And then we'd have to be like, no, like the restaurant week menu is designed with things that we ordered specifically to sell for the restaurant week menu. They will go bad if we don't sell them, and also we will lose money if we replace that food with anything else that isn't marked up. What we ended up doing for the second weekend, because it's 10 days, it begins, I think, on a Friday. So you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's technically across 2 weekends on either side. So by the second weekend at the end of restaurant week, we decided we would allow people to do substitutions, and we would just upcharge them the price of the food, which made some people annoyed, but yeah, we didn't do restaurant week after that. But it's funny because even though we were selling discounted food, I had record high sales for the bar that did not involve a private party. Record high sales at the bar is actually Drew's, and I think it's 14,000 or 15,000 in a single night, but it's because he processed the payment for a large party of like 40 something people, and they were all drinking like Don Julio 1942, like Camus, like having Sauvignon Blanc, or not Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, like Chablis Premier Cru, like Gamay from Beaujolais. They were ordering all the steak and stuff, and they tipped on top of their gratuity. So like, yeah, love those people, great. It was a regular's birthday party. Anyway, so that was a private party. Without handling a private party, I had the record highest sales the restaurant has ever seen. That was like 3,000 something in a single night, selling discounted food and drinks. And I wasn't weeded, and neither was Drew, because we were actually looking after each other. Everyone else was running around like they were crazy. I wouldn't say people are terrible. I would say restaurant week people are terrible. It's like they've never dined out before. Well, no, it's a little bit different because like there are people who have never been out for restaurant week, and then there's definitely people who don't understand the difference between restaurant week and normally eating out. I think what you have are people who do normally go out to eat, and so they're, especially in America, where you can have everything your way because every place is Burger King now. We live in America where you can order anything the way you like it if you're willing to pay for it, which is still true. The problem is trying to convince people the worth of what they're paying for, or like the worth of what they're ordering. So when you have someone who comes in and they're like, "Hey man, can I get this margarita? But what kind of tequila do you use in that?" "Oh, we use Lunazul Blanco." "Oh, okay, cool. What's your top shelf tequila?" Technically it's Don Julio 1942, but that's an extra añejo tequila. No, it doesn't even matter. Can you make that with the Don Julio? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, like, are you going to tip me 20%? Because if you are, I don't care. But if you're not going to tip me 20%, like, I really got to know ahead of time because this is about to be very expensive. And there's about a 50% chance that you're not going to like your bill at the end of the night. So, restaurant week is even worse because you have people who sit down for $35 each. And then when they start subbing things out and you're like, you can do that, but you started at 35. Once you sub one thing out, you're immediately up at 50. Like, or you order an extra glass of wine, you're already almost at $50. And then you have to think about, like, if you've brought yourself up to 50, you should be adding a $10 tip, so you're really actually up to 60 per person. So that's something that's really hard to communicate with guests. Or I guess it's harder for people who are still in the industry. But it's one of the main things that I'm trying to do as someone who, like, I don't need to be behind the bar. I can't be fired for mistreating guests. I could be let go, I guess, but from the company that I work for now, but for other stuff. So I have the chance now to train guests the way that bartenders and servers and managers can't. Literally happened last night. Dude wanted a cocktail on our menu, but wanted it with a different rum. And it's a draft cocktail. I didn't mind making it for him by hand since I upcharged it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta let people know there's an upcharge. Just like, my policy is that I don't let you know how much the upcharge is if it's less than, like, $4. Because otherwise people are like, Drew Talbot actually made a video about this. If you tell someone that the upcharge is like $2 or $3, then they're just gonna be like, yeah man, I think I can afford it. But if you don't tell them, even if the upcharge is $1, which happened to me when someone asked for a side of, it was like a side of, I think, olive oil or something. And I was like, okay, cool. It's gonna be an upcharge or whatever because we have to charge for everything that comes out of the kitchen. They were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And it's a $1 upcharge, and this lady still gave me hell. I took it off of their bill. The guy paid, and then she left a 1-star review for something nobody paid for that was explained to her before she closed out. Anyway, people are terrible. And you played any Souls likes? I played Dark Souls very briefly. I don't even remember what iteration, and it just like frustrated me, so I stopped. Great idea in theory, never works out because it brings out all the crap. Yeah, just Restaurant Week in general. First time hearing about Restaurant Week. Sounds cool, but people make it chaotic. Yeah, it's great if you just take it at surface value. Like, if you look at the deal and you go $35, 3-course meal, maybe it's paired with drinks, maybe not. Cool, I can do that. Like, bonus points if you realize that $35 is actually $42 because you should be tipping 20%. And that's per person, which means if you're going out on a date, then that's actually $84. Which, by the way, is not that bad. Not for this kind of food and drink. I got pizza! I'm a little bit jealous. Just a bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Alright guys, I'm gonna do one more shot. We're gonna find somebody to raid here on Twitch because this is all the time I have tonight. And then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna eat. Hannah and I are probably gonna talk more shit about people from Restaurant Week because it's terrible. I may just do like a whole series of TikToks. I forgot, like, I blacked out. Not from alcohol, from trauma. Like, I've walled off that part of my memory so hard. It's like the worst kinds. It's the worst kind of people to have to serve at the bar. And I only did one. Well, okay, where you opt in or you don't into Restaurant Week. Not all restaurants offer the 3 courses, $35, all that nonsense. We only opted in 1 year of the 4 years that I was working there. But every single year, it brings the worst people, even if you're opted in or not, because you have other people who will come into the bar and just go, hey, you guys doing Restaurant Week? No? Oh, okay, well, we'll sit down anyway. And then they'll sit down, they'll be like, hey, where's your Restaurant Week menu? We don't have one. Oh, well, it's Restaurant Week, so we thought you would have a Restaurant Week menu. Sure don't. Everything's full price. But you know what? You can order from the menu and probably spend less money and enjoy 100% of your meal. Or you could go somewhere else, spend $35, hopefully enjoy everything that you can get on their menu, and then leave feeling like you've probably been cheated by the system. Restaurant Week as just like a premise is just terrible. It's awful. Alright, I definitely need this shot now. Doing a shot of vodka. I also need to remember what... Yeah. I'll bring this home with me, since this is not, this hasn't been subsidized, so it is 100% mine. I can do what I want with it. Alright, cool. Guys, raise them if you got them. Ladies and gentlemen, and gentle them, and ladies, everyone in chat. Thank you for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Here's to you guys. Thank you for making this possible. Cheers. Ladies and gentle them, trademark Nico 2021. So yeah, let me find somebody on Twitch to raid really quickly. Everyone watching on YouTube and Facebook, this isn't going to affect you so much, but at the end of each of our live streams, I try to remember to raid someone on Twitch that just has a few people watching them. Hopefully someone who travels in the same kinds of circles that I do, so it might be another TikToker, it might be somebody playing a game that I'm familiar with, and maybe another like D&D, DM player or something, or it may be another bartender, because there are a few of us on Twitch. So, let me see who I can find really quick. Gun, Boss Fister, the Nat 20 show. Playing D&D. You know what? Feels appropriate. Alright, we're gonna raid the Nat 20 show. They are playing D&D, as the name would suggest. Mostly, I want to raid them because I believe they're typically a... Raul, welcome back. How's it going? Thank you for tuning in. Yes! Unfortunately, you made it here to the end of the live stream, so I'm about to sign off. And you may have missed the shot. I don't know about that. But we're about to raid a D&D stream. My bad. Dude, you have nothing to apologize for. You didn't do anything wrong. I just don't want you to be like, whoa, no, wait, what's going on? No, he's going? No! See you next time. I decided to stay up late then. Adios. Der Erikin, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, sticking around. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. And everyone else, the raid is optional. You can opt in or not. If you do decide to opt into the raid, you'll be taken with me and everyone else who did opt in to the Nat 20 show to watch their stream. We will all be in their chat together, and if you don't opt in, that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you, and nobody should. But if you stick around, you will end up watching the stream anyway. You just won't be in their chat. So if you want to reach me any other time of the day, any other day of the week, DM me on Discord. I mentioned earlier, that's where I look for all of my, like, viewer, friend, supporter DMs. If you guys have any really important questions, please don't DM me on Instagram, because I have to sift through a lot of business stuff on there. But guys, the next live stream is going to be tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST. It should be back here at the bar. I'm excited to see you guys there. Till then, good night, everybody.